Hi, I'm Eric Moline from SceneStealers.com, and this is the low-budget movie review. With us today, we have
Alan Wright from Dad's Big Plan.
Trey Hawk, Scene Stealers.
Aaron Weber, Dad's Big Plan.
Trevin McGee, Lawrence.com.
And all of these guys are related with Scene Stealers in one way or another, but we're here to talk about Thor. We just saw the brand new Marvel Comics adaptation directed by Kenneth Branagh, known for a lot of Shakespeare movies, and yes, that's how you fucking pronounce it.
At least one name.
I like that we've already got him to swear.
I know.
Say bagels.
And this is where we're supposed to be profanity free, but what are you gonna do? So, on the YouTube. So let's get to the movie. All right. I thought that this movie actually worked really well. I thought it was paced really quickly. It didn't have a lot of depth. I thought it actually could have used a little bit more relationship stuff. But we've got Chris Hemsworth, the Australian actor, as Thor. His brother Loki, played by. What are you putting me on the spot?
Tom Middleton.
Tom Middleton. Is it Middleton or Middleston?
Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, the villain was really great, and I think that's really essential in this movie. Trevin, what did you think?
I thought it was great, except I disagree with you on the pacing. I think the pacing was a little off for me. I loved all the fantasy elements. Wasn't a big fan of the on-Earth elements. I actually thought they did relationships really well, and there's a way more humor in the movie than you'd think. It's actually it's a lot funnier than you would expect.
And that's a good and bad thing to me. There are some goofy moments. Some of the goofy moments work, some don't.
I agree. That most jokes work. Some of them fall flat. A couple are recycled, or they happen more than once. But they didn't spend a lot of time on, he's a fish out of water. It wasn't just they didn't go to the same joke over and over again, and I liked it for that. But I think for me, what really stands out the most is that Kenneth Branagh is not very good at directing action scenes. The big epic fight at the beginning, again, all the fantasy elements work really well in this movie, at least to me. But the big fight at the end and then the climactic battle that follows, neither of those really struck a chord with me.
One of the things, about the action sequences with the 3D, it just didn't feel. I don't know. Those were the
there's
least
absolutely
successful.
no reason to see this movie.
Yeah, the 3D added nothing.
Hey, one more cent to see this in 3D.
We can all agree on that.
So, I'm going to disagree with a little bit of that. One of the things I liked, I think that the action sequences they're a little awkward in terms of the pacing. But the one thing that I've been waiting for is a superhero film where everybody feels superhuman. And this is one where you get that. Every punch feels...
Watchmen, cough.
Oh! Hey, can you turn that off? I have to commit a murder.
Okay, he's still here.
Murder on MySpace. So every punch felt kinetic and visceral, and that was fantastic. And the humor element, I think, really worked because this is material that is easy to get ridiculous if you take it too seriously. So the humor keeps it light. This is the first of the Marvel films that really felt like a family film.
It did.
Father-son story.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Yes and no. I mean, but out of the current crop, this is the most family-oriented of them.
And Raimi can get a little crass and vulgar.
Yeah.
And then there are some darker themes in the Spider-Man movies.
But it's brisk. It moves quickly. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot more fun than Iron Man 2 was. I mean, that's a given.
Definitely.
And the whole shared universe bit with leading up to the Avengers felt really natural, as opposed to being forced and shoot in.
Like Iron Man 2.
Yeah. So this one feels as good.
I'll say also that the cameo, I won't spoil it, but the cameo in this one, there's one in every one of these leading up to the Avengers, and one in this one.
But not Trinity.
Yeah.
No, it seemed organic.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was really organic. It worked really well. The thing I wanted to say about the action was that for me, it wasn't that he couldn't direct it well, because like Aaron said, I liked how how he did seem superhuman and it really felt like stuff was happening. But that sequence at the very end, I didn't know what the stakes were. It just seemed like a lot of pointing and shooting, like the Harry Potter wands, and I kind of hate that.
There's two plot twists that happen at the very, very end of the movie that they really didn't need.
They rushed right
into. They really didn't need.
Yeah.
They throw two twists in at the very, I'm talking the last 10 minutes of the movie, and that didn't need to happen.
Well, and in terms of action scenes, the Destroyer action scene is by far the best action scene, and the movie keeps going for another 20 minutes. So that's not the big action scene that ends things. Yeah. So you get another fight or two afterward, but they're just not as good.
Production-wise, it's gorgeous. It's really well imagined. Asgard is really fantastical and otherworldly. The costume looks amazing.
Even if the wizard lives in the
pipe organ.
That's another knock I'll give the 3D is that the 3D really cheapens a lot of those fantasy environments.
They feel like everything felt like a tilt shift photography. These little miniatures.
See, I'm not familiar with
the glasses
off,
and
and it felt. I mean, it felt very like computer constructed.
Yeah.
And I felt a little bit disappointed with that.
Yeah.
So I mean, just as far as like when I felt the best about the film was when we were in tight spaces that were an actual set, because the costumes worked great,
the colors
they looked
were
great.
Really,
the colors were great, but when it was too CG,
but
it really felt fake.
The sets that they did build were
really
very well
impressive.
done.
Awesome.
Yeah, they were really well done.
And we were talking about this before, the costumes, which and some of the stills don't look very good, actually look very good in motion and with lighting.
All the
they work
armor
very
works
well.
really well. It feels, from a comic book standpoint, this is the one that kind of gets it the most right. It's a blend of the Ultimates origin versus the traditional Thor origin, but it gets all the right elements, it hits all the right beats, and it doesn't have to change anything to make it work. They don't try to update it, they don't try to make it modern. So from a comic book fan perspective, it's really fulfilling to go, sweet, they got this one right without making any big twists.
All right, we're going to wrap it up, guys. Trevin, what do you think?
I give it a rock fist up. Solid rock fist up. It was a fun summer movie. I'm glad that it's what's going to start this whole season. It's a great balance of humor and fantasy. Action's a little flat, though, but that's not enough to really detract too much from it.
Solid rock fist.
Solid fist.
I'd love to get it way up, but it really is. It's got some flaws. It's a little too short for my taste. I'm the only guy who wants it longer. Solid rock fist up, and this gives me a lot of hope. If Captain America can have half the sincerity and fun Thor has, we're in for one hell of a summer.
You know, I'm gonna keep the theme. I would give it a solid rock fist up. I thought it was good. I went in with really low expectations, as I always do with all of these. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of the hater on the big comic book superhero movies right now. But I'm going to give it a solid rock fist up. I mean, it's really a focus on relationships. The action was almost an afterthought at most times. And so I'd say solid rock fist up.
Alan Rapp.
It's a lot of fun, and it is a little long for my taste, and a little too goofy.
A little long?
You are impossible.
And a little too goofy in places, but it is fun, and it's a lot better than I expected. Hemsworth does a much better job than I expected carrying the film, so I have to go solid up as well.
God, I am so boring. This is a solid rock fist up for me, too. And I'm going to say a lot of the same things that they said, except I'm just going to say them quicker. Chris Hemsworth and Natalie Portman were really good together. I wish there was more. Does that make me a little bit of a romantic?
We know that you love Natalie Portman.
Yeah, I do know I love Natalie Portman. But no, he did carry the film. I thought it was a good, solid fantasy film, kind of a family picture, surface value, but it moved very well. Solid rock fist up.
Cinematography brought to you by Tia Tequila.